There we go. Hello, third grade people.
Colin Stoner was removed from the meeting?
It's kicking them out if their Wi-Fi doesn't support the recording. He'll come back.
You're not kicking him out.
I'm not kicking him out. He'll come back. It is Wednesday, I think. I think it's Wednesday this time, November the 18th, and this is reading. We are talking about writing connections to reading and to science today. Our question of the week for reading was, how might an animal adapt or change to solve a problem? So that makes a really cool science connection. When we were together in person a couple weeks ago, we watched a video with Generation Genius to talk about science, and we learned about how animals will adapt or change to survive. Animals and plants will change how they live or how they eat or how they, go about their days to survive in their locations. So we have the video here, but it's kind of long, so I'm not going to show it to you now. It is in the top of your Google Classroom activity for you to watch to remind you of the ways that animals can grow and change, so you can write about that. So your video is in the Google form that I'll show you in just a minute. In your Google form today, it breaks down a 2.6 paragraph, one sentence at a time, but you are still writing a 2.6 paragraph to answer the question of the week. When we write a 2.6 paragraph, you're talking about two important things in 6 sentences. It begins with a introduction or a topic sentence, and that's the main idea, the big thing that we're talking about. It ends with a conclusion or a closing sentence that sounds a lot like your topic sentence, so your reader knows that you're coming to a close, and that's what you're talking about in your passage. And then you have two big things in the middle, a reason and a detail pair that tells the first thing you want to talk about and why it's important, and then a second reason and detail pair to explain something else and why it's important. So you are supporting your answer or your opinion. We're going to walk through an example paragraph about the weather to make a 2.6. And we're going to use kind of like this box is called a foursquare. And in the foursquare, we can break, because it has 4 squares in the middle. Pretty fancy. This is a graphic organizer that will help us explain and organize the things we want to talk about in our paragraph. So I have my introduction in the big box on top and the conclusion in the big box on the bottom. And then in the middle, we're going to pick a reason and a detail that explains the question, and another reason and another detail to explain our answer. So if we were writing a paragraph about weather, about what your favorite season was or what your favorite weather was, the introduction sentence might say something like, my favorite weather is winter weather. And then you would have to explain 2 reasons and 2 details about how or why that this is important. The chat box is blowing up with, I don't know how to write a 2.6 paragraph. I'm glad you're here today.
Michaela, she's explaining that to you right now.
I'm so glad you're here today. A 2.6 paragraph starts with an introduction and a conclusion, and they sound the same. Good deal. I know Emily does. Emily's a good writer. So if I'm going to write about my favorite weather, my introduction sentence would sound something like, my favorite weather is winter weather. And then I might jump down to my conclusion because I use the same words again. It's like when I restate the question. So my conclusion sentence would say something like, these are the reasons why winter weather is my favorite. When you have an introduction, you kind of do a lot of restating to explain to your reader what you're writing about. Because if we're writing together about winter weather, we know what we're talking about. But if Ms. Tarquinio came in and saw your work, she may not understand because she wasn't working with us. So she would need to know what you're talking about. When you have your introduction and your conclusion locked in so you know what you're talking about, you're going to need reasons to explain why you chose that and details to back it up. So, for example, my favorite weather is winter weather because I like winter holidays. Well, what about winter holidays? What's so exciting about winter holidays? Why do you like the winter holidays? Well, that's where my detail comes in. Maybe Christmas is my favorite holiday. So Christmas is important because I like winter holidays. Winter holidays is important to the paragraph because I'm talking about winter weather. I'm going kind of fast, but are you doing okay? I think we're doing all right so far. Your details explain your reason, and your reason tells us about your main idea. In a 2.6 paragraph, I have 2 of those groups. So I have another reason with
What
another.
are we writing about again?
We're going to be writing about how animals change, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. This is an example about weather to show you what the 2.6 looks like. That help so far? All right. Okay. In a 2.6, it has 2 reasons and details. That's where the 2 comes from. So I might also talk about how I like to play outside because I like to play in the snow. Snow is important to me because I play outside, and I play outside in the winter weather. So it kind of all works together. Like we talked about yesterday with your main idea and your details. We have the big Thanksgiving table, and then we have the turkey in the middle of the table, and then all the other foods around it. So when I take my pieces together, I can build a beautiful 2.6 paragraph that sounds something like this. My favorite weather is winter weather. I like winter weather because there are winter holidays. My favorite winter holiday is Christmas when we make gingerbread houses. I also like winter weather because I like to play outside. We play in the snow to build snowmen and make snow angels. These are some reasons why winter weather is my favorite. This is an example of a 2.6 paragraph. Now, I don't want to confuse you because you're not writing about winter weather today, and I might have confused you. But I wanted to give you a cool, interesting one that you'd be interested in example of how to write a 2.6 paragraph. Today, you're going to be writing about reading and science and making some connections. And your Google Form activity has the pieces of a 2.6. It looks like this in the Google Classroom. Up top in the directions, it says write a 2.6 paragraph telling how an animal might adapt to its habitat to solve a problem. You're going to tell us how an animal will change to live, to solve its problems. The first box you see is that Generation Genius video I was telling you about. Use the information in the lesson to help you. So if you don't remember about how animals and plants can grow and change, press play. And then you'll hit play. Ms. Signorino is giving you some
No, I'm just letting them
things
tell
to
me.
do.
Let's see if they can tell me some animal adaptations. If not, I'll
And then you press play.
try. No, there's none of that.
In the chat box, Ms. Signorino has right. Can you tell us some ways that animals adapt? Let's get it. Let's help each other brainstorm before we start writing. Reach back into your science box in your brain. Can you tell us a way that an animal might change to solve a problem? Let's help each other brainstorm before we start writing. Anybody home?
I'm working on a long one.
Sure.
Hit the chat box for Ms. Signorino to help you.
Move, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, that's true. Let me click back in the box real quick. Yasmin says animals might move around to change and solve a problem. That's true. Ms. Signorino says that her cat is adapting. She's growing a thicker coat so she can survive the winter when it's cold outside. That's one way they can change. Do we have any other ideas?
Oh, Emily's cat is too.
Huh. It's a thing cats do right now.
Yeah. Except for yours, who stays inside all the time.
Right. Well,
You
she's
build
kind
a
of.
stronger house so it doesn't blow away.
Mm-hmm.
Penguins lose their baby feathers so they can swim. Yeah.
That's true.
When we need to focus.
Mm.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, it's interesting because my cat does stay inside all the time, but because I don't know, it's the same way our bodies as humans know to grow and change, they do too. Because she lives inside, she doesn't leave the house. Every once in a while, she goes and sits in the window where she can see the outside, but she is pretty fluffy right now. It's very cute.
Melanie says bears hibernate.
That is true. Bears hibernate. Penguins lose their feathers. Animals get kind of fluffy to stay warm. So these are all ways that animals can adapt or change to solve the problems that they're facing. If it's cold, they get fluffy, they hibernate, they go to places where it's warm. Michaela says that bears stay in their caves and hibernate. That's true. You're going to be thinking about some ways that animals change to solve a problem. And if you need a couple more ideas or some background.
Yeah, bats.
Ooh, bats do go to caves.
Good
job. Camouflage. Some animals change colors. Kamorion says he has a dog, but their coats get a little thicker. I haven't had dogs in a long time, so I think that may be so. If you need some more good ideas when you leave, there's the video at the beginning of your form activity to give you that background knowledge. I went in and I gave you the reminder of what a 2.6 looks like, and then you have your boxes to put in your answers. I am proud of your hard work today. At the end of your writing, if you need help, I'll be here for a few minutes. Let me know. And then we're going to start checking in with our Mr. Bill schedule to work on your fluency passage. We've got Kaden at 9:30 and Emma Lynn at 9:45. Ms. Signorino and I are going to stay on the meet and hang out with Yasmin, Taylor, Azaria, Kaden, and Melanie for a couple minutes. And if you have questions, pop into the meet and we'll answer your questions before this group gets started. And for everybody else, you are working on your Google Classroom activity. Big old check mark to the Google Meet because we are finished. And then you're logging on to Lexia. This morning, I celebrated 7 friends who got on to Lexia and met their goals. That means there's a bunch of other 3rd grade friends who did not log in at all yesterday. Please take care of that. You do know what to do. Okay, some of you are saying that I can't get my work done, Ms. Falone. I don't understand. You need to tell me that you have questions so I can help you understand. So when we press the phone and leave our Google Meet for the group that's leaving, you're going to come to Google Classroom. You're going to go to Classwork. You're going to click on the side where it says November 16th through 20. I have a lot of teacher stuff that's going to get confusing. And then I'm going to scroll down to the purple boxes where it says Wednesday 11-18 reading. Then when you find it, you click on your assignment. It gives you the directions. Today you're making connections to writing and science. Complete the Google activity to write a 2.6 paragraph. Click on it. And here you go. Watch the video, read the slide, write the question. I am ready for you to be successful today. You are ready to be successful today. Get your reading done, put first things first, and then you have some extra activities, and then I'll see you at 10 o'clock. I'm going to stop recording and then check the chat box and give some extra directions.
We're good at the chat box right now.
All right.